All right. Welcome back to the Smoky Room, enemy of the New World Order. Somebody's got to be, right? You're probably thinking to yourself, hey, Smoky Room guy, you just did one of these. Yeah, I know. I'm going to do another one too. Let me start off just by thanking everyone that voted for Mr. Biden. You couldn't have made a better choice. Really. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone else that is this capable of, destroying the world. This Mameluke, he goes to visit Ukraine just to, you know, beef up their border, right? With money, advanced military weapons, right? Because we don't need anything here. Better spent there in Ukraine, you know, beating back those bad Russian guys. I wish, I really wish that in order to be an American citizen, every so often you would need to take a test, uh, just to see where the hell your head is at, whether or not you see when our founders. Let's try that again. I'm really, I'm going to run over that clock. When our founders came up with the idea of a representative republic, there are a couple of things, a couple of attributes that citizens and leaders would need in order for this type of government to work. Now, let's try this again. First of all, if anybody still stares at the idiot box, when you hear them say democracy, that makes me crazy. It really does, because this is not a democracy. Democracy defined is majority rule. Okay? There's no representation across the board for the little guy. It's just the majority gets what it wants. That's what democracy is. This is not a democracy. It's a representative republic. Now, the fella that takes up space in the Oval Office is put out there as a figurehead uh, to make it look like he is the president, even though he really isn't. There's a whole lot of speculation that in charge it's actually Mr. Obama. But I don't know. I don't even think it matters at this point, really, because we are getting so damn close to the end. And that's exactly what this little message is going to be about. This guy goes to Ukraine, meaning Mr. Biden, and really pissed off Vlad. Now, I do not see any sort of um, urgency or desire. And I'm gonna stay with desire. I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna put that one up front. There is no desire to negotiate with this guy. You see, 1962, there was a fella. His name was Khrushchev. Any of yous remember that name? Anybody? Anybody? And there was a period of time in November of that year that we came very, very, very close to nuclear annihilation. Mr. Khrushchev decided that he was going to put nuclear weapons in Cuba. Now, if anybody's ever been to Key West, you could have your picture taken in front of that big thing, whatever it is. It's a marker. It's a big concrete. I'm looking at the picture of it here. 90 miles to Cuba's southernmost point in the United States. 90 miles, right? We were going to go to war over that. And reason being, in a way, they were too close. Now, let's look at why NATO was formed and when it was formed. NATO was formed after World War II to ensure safety from the Soviet Union, which no longer exists. Okay? So let's just say I'm Vlad, right? I'm Vlad. I'm glad there's lemon fresh and borax in me. Nobody remembers that commercial, right? Or do you? Fab is what it was. But this is anyway. Never mind. So I'm Vladimir Putin, right? The Soviet Union is gone. Wow, that left in 91 or 90. When the hell? It was either 90 or 91. I think it was 91. So the Soviet Union no longer exists. But NATO keeps encroaching on my border. NATO no longer, the Soviet Union no longer exists. What I am saying is, at that point, there is no longer any reason for NATO to exist. But in history, there always has to be a boogeyman. That's how the elite control the plebes, which is us. They put a boogeyman out there, so when they need a war, and war serves a whole lot of purpose to the elite, if you notice. It's never the elite that goes out there and gets maimed, loses an arm, becomes mentally ill, or just loses a son or daughter. They never have to deal with that grief. You see, because we are subject to them in reality. Not on paper, but in reality. It's gotten to the point where our founding documents, they don't mean squat. Really, they don't. They don't mean anything. Look at the two-tiered legal system we got. You could drive through a stop sign, get stopped, and have the living shit beat out of you. Just because. I don't know, the guy had a bad time that night or something, who the hell knows? Ain't nothing gonna happen to him. A politician lies in front of Congress. Okay, now what? Nothing. directly lies right in front of Congress. Now, I called up my congressman with that one. They were stunned. My question was, how come that's allowed? If I go to court for a friggin' traffic ticket and lie, I could do 60 days. Here we got Congress people lying direct, and it's proven. Nothing happens to those people. Not one damn thing. Nobody even calls them a name. They all go out and have dinner together at the end of the day. Shake each other's. Hey, my buddy, hey, from the other side of the aisle. Hey, we're friends. But now, we got this guy in the White House completely. I mean, come on, we could see it. Look, I don't. In reality, he just moves. He moves, and then sometimes the movements are unplanned, and he tries to shake hands with invisible people. He gets lost on the stage. He can't read a monitor to save his life. Every time he tries, he frigs it all up. This guy is not in charge. They directly lie to the American public, stating that this man is about as healthy as Mr. Atlas, or the best football player out there. Hey, you want to do push-ups? I'll do push-ups with you. I beat up Corn Pop. I'd be embarrassed to say that. Corn Pop? How about Rice Krispies? Did you beat him up too? Lucky Charms! Oh, you're always after me. Lucky Charms. So, my point is this. We're being lied to, which everybody knows anyway. I mean, that's not like that's news, right? But now it's gotten so bad. Putin withdrew from all nuclear agreements. Does anybody comprehend that? Putin withdrew from all nuclear agreements with the United States. What do you think the next move is after that? And this guy goes to Ukraine and just pushes it even more. I don't know if that's a good idea. But you see, he can't think anyway. They just told Joe, listen, you're going to Ukraine today. I ordered the veal cutlet. All right, get him dressed, shoot him up, and put him on a plane. What the hell did him and the other guy talk about? Can you imagine that conversation? Zelensky, what's his name? The dude was a comedian. The guy that runs Ukraine was a stand-up comedian. Our tax dollars are going there. You know that, right? Our acting president goes there, right? Knowing that this is really gonna piss the guy on the other side of that border off. It looked extremely deliberate. My question to you is, why? When John F. Kennedy was faced with the Cuban Missile Crisis, he didn't try to aggravate Castro. No, wait a minute. Let's talk this thing over because I would like to wake up tomorrow morning and go to work. This guy? No, wait a minute. Aren't we supposed to make Russia even more angry at us? No. Whoops. I mean, you would think. I don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, I know I can reason through it somehow. But what they're trying to do, I don't understand. Now, as I'm talking about this, anybody remember the Georgia I think they were called the Guidestones or something like that. Nobody really knows what the hell happened to them. But the Georgia Guidestones, people like Bill Gates, that evil bastard, constantly talk about how the population has to be decreased. And it's not like this is something new they came up with. They've been talking about this for decades. Decades. Oh, there's too many people in the world. Oh my God, where's the trees? They're talking about you and me, your kids, your mom and dad, the guy you hate around the corner. They don't give a shit about you. You're not even a number to them. You're just a blob of cells that exists on this planet. And they have free reign over your body. If they want, they can impose a draft again and send your kids off to get slaughtered. That's the amount of power these people have. And they don't care about you or me. They only care about the end game. The end game is the new frickin' world order. That's right. What part a nuclear war plays in that? I can only think the part it's going to play is reducing the population. And there's not a damn thing you or I could do about it. Yet. It depends on how angry everybody gets. It depends on who the leader. You see, it's gotten to the point, well, we've been on our own for a while. In my opinion, we have no government. Okay? It's not a government of the people and by the people. This has become a government on the people. They govern, you obey. Declaration of Independence? What's that? Second Amendment? Oh, well, they put that in there because they had to hunt for their food. But it doesn't say that. It's a deterrent to tyranny. It states it right there. Well, that was written hundreds of years ago. It's a growing document. It's a growing document. How do documents grow? I've had this. I think I got this in the 1980s. It hasn't grown one single bit. Not at all. There's no more new words in it. It doesn't grow. You following me? Are you following me? You know, that was Bill Clinton. The guy that says this is a growing document is also the same guy that said on TV, it depends what is. Anybody remember that? Whenever I'm reading from the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence, okay? It's one of our founding, I don't know if you learned about this in school. This was written before our Constitution. When? World War II? Are you out of your mind? Nah, it wasn't the Civil War. Anybody? The Revolutionary War. You remember? There were people living here that spoke funny. They started to piss us off. So we sent their ass home. But before we did that, we wrote this to tell them we don't want you here anymore. Go away. And if you don't, we're going to start shooting at you. So when we won that war, our founders, needed insurance that there would never, ever be a tyrannical government again in this country. To ensure that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, not vote it out. Because we know that doesn't work anymore. It's a frickin' joke. Are you getting me? We are on our own. We're just being ruled. We have no say in anything. These people are telling us men can get pregnant. You got guys dressed up like girls that are scary looking, reading to toddlers. And mommy and daddy thinks it's cute. This is how frigged up we are. Nobody seems to care. And then we got this guy making things worse. Hey, Roy! Yeah, Bill. I heard this morning that, the Russians nuked California? Yeah, that's right. I don't know what that guy, what do they call him, Brandon? Joe Brandon? No, that's Joe Biden. Yeah, Joe Biden. Ever since he went to Ukraine, that guy over there in Russia got pretty angry at the United States, so he took out California. Right? It's a wacky world, isn't it? I'm telling you. But anyway, there we are. That's my message for today. It's not a good one, is it? We're on our own. Right? We need a virtuous, honorable, charismatic guy that can get out there and do stuff. I often wondered that these tough guys on Capitol Hill, you know the ones I'm talking about, they take the jacket off, they get out there and they have a press conference because I'm a tough guy and I can lift weights and I could say stuff. That's about it. Doing anything is a whole nother story. You see, if they really cared, and if they really believed what they were saying, let's pretend, shall we? Let's say you, some guy out there named Bob, got elected as a senator, and you, in your heart, believe that this country, this nation is being harmed. Wouldn't you really want to do something? You guys got the friggin' power to send kids out there to die, and you yourself won't even go on the damn steps of the Capitol and try to get a crowd together and speak to them directly. Nobody's done that. Oh, wait a minute. No, it did happen once. Who the hell was it? Well, Maxine Waters, that ugly witch, was involved. Reverend Al Sharpton was involved. And some very large black fella was involved. I don't remember. They were protesting something. I don't know. You see, the Democrats do that kind of stuff. The Republicans, on the other hand, we're the sissy in the schoolyard. That's how they see us. We're the sissy in the schoolyard. But you know what? Sometimes the sissy just says, you know what? I am getting so tired of this that he just freaks out and takes about 10 years of pent up aggravation out on the other kid's face. That's kind of like when the British really thought, you know what, these people are really angry at us. We better go. Yeah, that's you know. I don't even know if it's worth talking about this anymore. Is it worth it? Anybody? I mean, should we just sit here, stay silent, and just wait for stuff to happen? Oh. Oh, hi, Mr. Policeman. You want my guns? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Do I get a receipt? Up my ass? Receipt? Okay. I mean, is that what we do? You know. You know what other kind of shit's happening nowadays? Anybody hear about the red flag laws? Here's another one I called my congressman about. They had no friggin' clue what I was talking about. The red flag law, and I don't, whether or not this is actually law now, I kind of think it is. I could be wrong. I don't know. I've heard about it. I've done a little bit of reading about it. And what it is, let's just say my wife decides, you know what? This guy is a frickin' lunatic. So she calls the police. She says, listen, my husband's 67 years old. All right. He owns firearms, but I believe he's losing his mind. That legally, now I'm not saying that's law in New Jersey. I don't know. It may be. But that legally, okay, gives the township or the county or the city, I don't know if it's county or state, I'm not sure. But it gives them the legal right to come into your home without a warrant, take your weapons away, and lock you up in a funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. People weave baskets and twiddle their thumbs. Heidi ho. I brought it to the attention of the young lady that answered the phone uh, at my congressman's office. Donald Norcross, super congressman, that guy. He is. No, he really is. He's the bestest congressman that ever congressed in wherever. But a long, long, long time ago, I don't know, I think it ended in the 50s or early 60s. They had very, very, very similar laws. And the laws seem to, like, if a husband just got so damn tired of the situation at home, he calls up a medical, institution, mental health institution, and says, you know what? My wife keeps running around the house screaming she's Peter Pan. I don't know what the hell I could do about it. Can you come here and get her? And they did. They would come there, put a straitjacket on her, and take her away. Like 15 years later, the guy's sitting on the couch picking his nose, wondering, what the hell ever happened to, what's her name? Yeah, it's very similar. But now they actually have a real purpose. You see, one thing you got to understand about these people, these globalists, they've got patience. Lots and lots of patience. And they've got lots and lots of money. And lots of power over you. Think about that. Okay? Think about that. Think about all the power that corporations now have over you. Right? Here's an interesting one. I use a CPAP machine, and I'm sure a lot of you out there probably also do. It's become, well, it's a good thing, the CPAP machine. You got to get used to it, but it's a good thing. Now, my doctor, the guy who went to school, the guy that got the degrees, the guy that does all the work, at an appointment, wrote down that I need a new CPAP machine and I do not need a sleep study. Fine. I was happy because I didn't want to have another sleep study. So I go home. I'm happy. Yay, I don't need a sleep study. Told my wife I was thrilled to death. I said, man, this thing went so much better than I dreamed it would. Because dealing with the pulmonary department of Cooper Hospital, it's like talking to Joe Biden, okay? So weeks go by. My wife said, hey, Joe, whatever happened to that, the CPAP machine? Like, can you check into that? And I checked into it. And I found out, first of all, the first aggravating part of it was you cannot make a direct call to anyone in the pulmonary department. Okay? Let's start there. And then it just gets worse. All right, I get a message that these people were trying to contact me. Yeah, I was trying to contact you too. And, well, Joe, you see, the insurance company wants you to have a sleep study. What? She says the insurance company wants you to have a sleep study. I said, oh. when they told you that, did they say that was a medical decision they made? And if not, why do they have the power over my doctor to recommend something he says I don't need? How do insurance companies have that kind of power, and why? That's a new avenue I'm going to go down one day and really start to find out about it. But what I'm finding out in my little bit of research, there's not a whole lot of information out there about how these insurance companies have so much damn power over what you do and what doctors do. You might as well just go see an insurance guy. I need a knee replacement. I got to go see the guy from New York Life. When's that? Next Wednesday at 2 o'clock? Yeah. Yeah, he's going to talk about my knees. He's got some paperwork I got to sign. You know. So, can you imagine that? You're going to get a knee replacement, and there's an insurance guy over there in the surgery room, right? He's got a tie on. He's got his little briefcase. Well, Mr. Messina, glad to see you made it today. You know, speaking about your policy, let me talk to you about something. I can. It's like it's well. So anyway, there we are. Another fun-filled episode of the Smoky Room. Yeah, we talked about a few things today, didn't we? So stay tuned. Remember, I think you can subscribe. I don't know much about this. Alls I know is basically my son set me up with this. He's 27 now, this kid. And I'm having trouble. I'm just not a computer kind of guy. I mean, I do stuff with it, but anyway, it's hit or miss sometimes. But yeah, have yourself a great day. Bye bye. You must stop this, please. Okay.